Great. Well, okay, welcome everyone to our call today. Thank you so much for being on. Today is going to be a very exciting call. We're going to be covering here a quick presentation. It'll be about 30 minutes or so with our corporate trainer who has had a lot of experience training in multiple companies, has helped a lot of companies to grow into substantial 7 to 8 figures and beyond. Miss Mita Del Fiero, she has an amazing way of helping people to understand this project, or any project really, in a very simple way that allows you to be able to make a decision in a very quick manner. Because of what's happening right now in the crypto space, we are probably the only real project that has a real chance of succeeding. And we'll be doing a quick update call right after this one. And so without further ado, let me bring up Miss Mita Del Fiero to help us to pass this message along. Mita?
Well, great. Thank you so much. Well, welcome everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending, of course, on where you're calling in from, because I realize that there are people who are calling in from different parts of the world. As Jamal said, this is Mita Del Fiero, and tonight I am calling in from Seattle, Washington, and it's my privilege to share some very exciting news with you. Now, this presentation is for you. If you're a guest, or if this is your first time to hear about our humanitarian project that will uplift and elevate the lives of millions of people in Africa. And this presentation, it's for you. If you want to learn about the opportunity where you can leverage as little as $100 or even less, much less, $10, $20, $50, and still have the potential to earn millions in return. I know it can sound too good to be true, but when you hear what's been put together with this program, you're going to clearly see how this can be possible. Now, this project began as the vision of Mr. Marcus Dukes, who, after retiring from a very successful career in the world of finance and investments, he decided to pursue something that he felt could really make a difference in helping to eradicate extreme poverty in Africa. And those of you who've heard his story, you know the work that he has already put in over the last several years to bring this really to fruition. Now, I'm sure that most, if not everyone on this call, has heard the term unicorn in the context of business and investments. Now, unicorn refers to a privately held startup company that achieves a valuation of at least $1 billion. That's billion with a B. Now, the term unicorn, well, this was coined by venture capitalist Eileen Lee in 2013, because back then, it was such a rare achievement to actually reach this valuation. And she said it's sort of like pursuing that mythical, the mythical unicorn. And that's where the term came from. But you know what? In 2013, there were only 39 unicorn companies. And now listen to these very important numbers. In a study done by Harvard Business Review, it was determined that startups founded between 2012 and 2015 were growing in valuation twice as fast as companies from startups that were founded between 2000 and 2013. And in 2018, there were 119 unicorns worldwide. About 803 unicorns as of August 2021. And as of June 2022, now that's only 4 months ago, okay, they reported 1,170 unicorns globally. Now, the growing number of unicorns is evidence of how new innovations in technology combined with social media apps has contributed to this rise of unicorns. And in a few minutes, you're going to appreciate why these numbers could be relevant to what we're presenting to you now. So let me ask this. How many of you were invited to be a private investor in a unicorn company when it was just a startup, meaning before it actually became a unicorn company. Chances are that you, like me, never got that call to go check out any of these startups. So let's talk about what was happening in Silicon Valley before these unicorn companies just started popping up. You see, this is where the little guys with great ideas went to pitch private investors and venture capitalists, hoping to get funding to build their ideas into successful companies. And of course, we've heard stories of unbelievable returns of tens of millions or hundreds of millions or even billions of dollars when any of these great ideas became successful, and especially when they achieved unicorn status. So now that you're on this presentation, let me just say that you have been invited to an opportunity where you can be a part of profiting from startups that could potentially become unicorn companies. You see, the vision that Marcus started with has now evolved into a new startup ecosystem in Africa. And this is to address the continent's most pressing issues. And it's using crypto and blockchain technology. Now, this is important because blockchain is it's a transparent and incorruptible digital ledger, and crypto moves the world to prosperity. So one part of this new ecosystem, the Humanity Node Protocol, has already completed proof of concept, which means it's already been successfully executed and implemented in Africa. People are already being trained, gaining new skills, and have access to business resources that will give them opportunities to improve their personal economies. And this will result in their lives truly being uplifted and elevated in ways that will be sustainable for a lifetime. And another part of this ecosystem is the Africa Startup League, or ASL. And this is what we're going to focus on this presentation. So what I want to do now is let me just share my screen and share this information with you. Okay, so we should be good to go right there. As you can see here, it says, welcome to Africa's $1 trillion startup competition. So really, what we're going to show you is the groundwork that's already been laid down that's going to give you access to the world's next major economy. Okay, so a summary in the next 15 minutes or so. We're going to be talking about Africa's $1 trillion startup game. We're going to explain why Africa, talk about the decentralized GDP of Africa, and how Africa is going to rise to this stature faster, really, than China even rose to. We're going to talk about how ASL, the Africa Startup League, is going to help you create your own venture fund, how it's going to give staking rewards of up to 100x, how it's going to launch 100 African startups per year. And you're going to see how you can participate in a way where you can leverage your money, where you're going to win sometimes, but you will never lose. We're going to talk about the ASL, the Africa Startup League competition, and really about the tokenomics, commissions, and referrals. So what is Africa Startup League? If you look here, you're going to see that ASL really is a unique startup studio platform. So what we're going to do is we're going to be able to connect these entrepreneurs. Remember the little guys with the great ideas? We are going to connect them with the strategists, with the creatives, the engineers, the community and capital to design and build and launch exponential organizations that will be focused on improving the life of humans and transforming the world of tomorrow. And in this competition, what are they competing for? Well, the $1 million US grand prize. That's what the #1 winner, the grand prize, is going to be. However, there will be prizes for the top 100 companies, and all of these prizes will be awarded as direct funding for their projects. So why are we doing this? Of course, we want to find the future unicorns, right? Those billion-dollar companies that are going to be the foundation of Africa's multi-trillion-dollar economy. So what I want you to keep in mind, though, is that while we are actually helping to find and create these unicorn companies, remember, all of the teams that participate in the Africa Startup League, they don't all need to become unicorns for you to earn the unbelievable returns. Because you see, the advantage that you have with timing and price of the ASL tokens right now means that you're still going to have the potential to earn unbelievable returns, even if the companies that you support, that you sponsor, do not become unicorn companies. That's great news. So how are we going to do it? Well, we have put together the, so to speak, laying the railroads, meaning we've created the path where we're going to be able to gather and distribute the resources for building and accelerating the next 10,000 great blockchain-based, humanity-focused companies. And we're going to create $1 trillion worth of new wealth. So why Africa? First of all, when we look at these factors here, the demographic power, the social power, the blockchain power of what's already happening in Africa, it's not hard to see where we're going with this. Right now, the demographic power. Africa has 1.4 billion inhabitants, which is the second most populated in the world. And by 2050, that's expected to grow to 2.5 billion. And it has the youngest population of any region. The median age, the average age of 20, is a decade less than the global average. Then we have the social power. We have over 500 million people on the internet in Africa, over 250 million just on Facebook alone. And the access to internet is growing year on year, meaning at an accelerated rate. Then we have the blockchain power. Fastest adoption of blockchain in the world, 1,200% growth. And that's just from 2020 to 2021 in 1 year's time, 1,200% growth. Now, over this period, more than 100 billion crypto payments were to Africans. And right now, 10% of the population in Kenya already have crypto wallets. So those statistics truly will be aligned with us being able to create and help create Africa to be the crypto capital of the world. So let's look at what's happened here with China. And we talk about China's rise to economic power, because we've all heard the saying that success leaves clues. Well, we have something even better, because we have an actual roadmap or benchmarks, if you will, that we can actually follow. So for China, it took them 4 years to move from 500 billion to $1 trillion in GDP, right? So when we talk about GDP, that is the gross domestic product. So I just want everybody to be clear. So this is the total monetary value added of all the goods and services that are produced within a specific, geographical area during a specified period of time. Then it took them 17 more years to reach $10 trillion GDP. Only 8 more years to become a $17 trillion economy, which has become the world's second largest. And in this rise, in the last 20 years, China has created 301 unicorns, 1,000 billionaires, 5 million new millionaires. So, guys, this is obviously a roadmap that we can follow along with. So what's happening now in Africa? Well, right now, Africa has a 1.7 trillion economy today. Africa will represent a $20 trillion GDP by 2040, which is in line with China's growth. Okay. The median age of Africa, of the Africa continent, is under 20, which is less than half of that of any other continent. And blockchain has already hit critical mass in many African countries. Now, when we talk about critical mass, it's that tipping point, right, at which something becomes self-sustaining, because those numbers are big enough to produce results and to continue to grow. Africa starts its hypergrowth phase with a younger and more entrepreneurial population. So again, when we look at that hypergrowth phase, this is the same generation that has more easily adopted and utilized new technology, and certainly the social media apps, which are contributing factors to the growing numbers of unicorns. Right now, 1/3 of all crypto owners in Africa are based in Nigeria, with over 22 million people. Well, Nigeria's current population is over 218 million. So 22 million is only 10% of the population. That just gives you an idea of how much growth potential still remains. So the information business sector provides 55% of the African continent and 80% of the employment. So a lot of great statistics in our favor there. So why decentralized GDP of Africa? Well, remember, decentralized means that it's not going to be governed or regulated by any kind of single governing body or authority. So this kind of just gives you a little bit of a comparison between talking about the issues with centralization and the decentralized solution. So in Africa right now, you have 54 countries with all different currencies. Being decentralized means there's one economy for all. In Africa right now, you're going to have corrupt governments. Decentralization is free from corruption. Remember, it's all transparent, incorruptible, blockchain, digital ledger. So centralization lacks that transparency. Here, it's all recorded on the blockchain. With centralization, there are power discrepancies. With decentralization, the people have the power. Again, with centralization, they're going to be affected by rising inflation and the continued devaluation of African currencies. But with the decentralized solution, we're just going to participate in the acceleration of crypto adoption. And currently, 57% of Africa is unbanked. With a decentralized solution, it's going to be easier to bank people just on the phone. So here, this is talking about creating your own venture fund. So when we talk about venture funds or venture capitalists, now, this is where they have pulled together the funds where they're going to be investing in startups, but this is in exchange for equity or ownership of those companies. And that's the opportunity that you're going to have with the Africa Startup League. You're going to be able to assign your ASL tokens to the teams that you want to support, and you're going to be able to earn equity in those companies. If any of the teams that you assigned your tokens to ends up in the top 100 companies, you are going to have equity in all those companies because it is a pooled investment. So that's what it means that you're going to be able to create here. So what is this competition? Here we go. There will be 10,000 teams that will be competing for that top prize of $1 million US. You are going to purchase ASL tokens right now for 1 cent, 1 penny. So this is the advantage that you have right now. The timing is at ground zero, where really we're just preparing to get started, because the competition doesn't actually start until all 10,000 teams have garnered the support that they need, which is 100,000 tokens per team. Then they can be a part of the competition. And so we expect that that's going to happen very, very quickly. So once those 10,000 teams are ready to go, the competition can start. You can purchase as many of the ASL tokens as you want. The minimum is $10, but you may want to purchase $100 or $1,000 or whatever it might be. So to sponsor one team, that team is going to need $1,000 worth of ASL tokens. Now, you can assign whatever you purchase, you can assign it to as many teams as you want. You put in, let's say you buy $1,000 worth. You can say, okay, I want to split this between 2 teams. I want to split this between 5 teams. Or I want to split it, give $100 worth to 10 different teams, however you want to split it up. You're going to have the opportunity to learn more about these teams and their projects as we start moving forward here. And then you can pick and choose the teams that you want to support. And what's going to happen is that if any of the teams that you assigned your tokens to ends up in the top 100 of these funded startups, you will have equity in all of those companies. And that's where those venture capitalists, those private investors, when they did that, and those companies that they had invested in became successful, became unicorns, that's where they made the tens of millions, hundreds of millions, and even billions of dollars. So this is the prize pool, showing you that the teams that place first, of course, is $1 million, and then second is 250,000, then 100,000 for third, 50,000 for fourth, 40,000 for fifth, 35,000 for the 6th place. 7th place gets 30,000, 8th place gets 25,000, 9th place 20,000, 10th place gets 15,000, and if you place from 11 to 100, you're going to get $10,000. And all of these awards will be given as funding for their projects. Okay. Now, if that's all you want to do is buy your tokens and go pick the teams that you want to support and assign those tokens to, and then sit back, cheer your teams on, watch the competition move along. There's going to be a lot of promotion. There's going to be a lot of media, social media attention, global media attention. So this is really going to get a lot of attention all from different sources. And you can just cheer your team on and hope that one of your teams will end up, at least one of your teams will end up in the top 100, so you can share in the equity of all of those companies. And now that perhaps those $1,000 worth of tokens that you purchase, imagine in your mind what it's now going to be worth. Because remember, you're buying the tokens for a penny, for 1 cent. I mean, just imagine what happens if the price of that token, when that ASL token reaches a nickel. What's going to happen when it reaches a dime? What's going to happen when it reaches $1? And these are tokens that you right now have the opportunity to buy for a penny. So remember that once the tokens are sold out, there are no more available. And anybody that wants to participate, they will have to buy them from the people who have them in their possession. I mean, that's how it's going to work. I apologize for that, guys. Let's see here what screen we're on. Okay, here we go. So educate and grow. Once you become a part of this community, you're going to have the opportunity to continue to learn from a team of experts and mentors. You're going to be able to learn about investments, venture capital funds, and things like that. And because you're a part of the community, and this is all going to be made available to you. And remember when I said sometimes you can win, but you'll never lose. So once you purchase your tokens and then you assign them, if you don't win, you'll be able to take those tokens and play again in the next competition and assign them once again. Okay. So you're always going to have that opportunity to continue to support the teams, and that opportunity to continue to be part of a venture capital fund, venture capital group here, and make those unbelievable returns. So that's how this whole thing is going to work. Now, maybe you want a little more. Maybe you want to see if you can earn some income right now. It's okay. You can wait. If you don't want to refer anybody, you can wait until the competition ends and then see where your teams ended up and what kind of returns you're going to get. Or you might be sitting back saying, you know what, this is such a great idea. And if it's good for me, and I want to participate, because obviously the focus is really a humanitarian project to help uplift and elevate the lives of millions of people in Africa. And we're going to do that by continuing to help them develop the economies, right? Not just their own personal economies, but the economies in their towns, economies in their cities, in their areas, in their countries. And as those economies continue to grow, just like what happened in China, it's going to lift the whole, their whole country. It's going to lift their whole continent. And we'll be able to watch this whole growth happening. But maybe you're saying, hey, listen, I think it's such a great idea. I want to introduce some people that I know and see if they see what I see. And when they do, and they make purchases of this, you can participate in our 6th level referral and commission program, meaning anyone you personally refer, that's your first tier. You're going to get 15%. If they refer someone, that's your 2nd tier. You're going to get 5%. When they refer someone, that's your 3rd tier. You're going to get 4%. When they refer someone on your 4th tier, you get 1%. When they refer on your 5th tier, you get 3%. And when they refer someone that ends up on your 6th tier, you're going to get 2%. Now, those percentages may not sound like a whole lot, but guys, anybody that has ever seen how these teams, how these organizations grow, the deeper the tier, the deeper the level, the more people there are. So those percentages may sound less, but you're getting those percentages on larger numbers of people, which will result in larger dollars amounts of purchases. So that's if you want to participate in that referral side. Again, you don't have to. You can still make money just buying your ASL tokens, assigning them to your teams, and hoping, of course, that at least one of the teams that you assigned your tokens to ends up in the top 100 of the competition. So in the end, what are we inviting you to do? We're inviting you to be a part of this humanity community. We're inviting you to help us grow the economy in Africa, to help uplift and elevate the lives of millions of people in Africa. And the Africa Startup League, it is the first blockchain-based African startup contest for young entrepreneurs. Guys, these are the little guys with great ideas, and they need our support to help fund their ideas and bring it to the marketplace. And remember, 100% on the blockchain with unique and transparent community involvement from A to Z. So you will be able to see everything as we continue to move forward with this project and grow with this project. So for our guests, I hope that you saw something here tonight, that you heard something that tells you, you know what, I want to be a part of this. I want to be a part of a program, of a project that really is going to make a difference in the world today. And we invite you to do that. Get back with the person who invited you. Let them know that you're ready to get started. And they'll help you do that, just as we will help you every step of the way with trainings and calls and updates and everything to let you know what's happening, where we're going, and how things are moving along. So with that, I'm going to end the presentation here. Once again, thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention, and we'll see you at the next presentation.